Good evening. This is Dr. James Spencer of Intuitive Wholeness, located in Long Beach, California, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a psychic and medium that specializes in tarot divination. And I have decided, which I normally don't post, but with the energies in our cosmos right now being so intense, with a lot of world events coming up for July of 2025. I know a lot of my personal clients, friends, and just the world in general are feeling this tension, feeling this despair, feeling fear. And I wanted to do a reading specifically for what we will see with Trump in July of 2025, as well as in America specifically, and also what we will see in some world events as well. I like to use the Aleister Crowley THOTH deck for tarot readings, and I like to use a 15-card, very specific, intuitive reading that will get to the point. It will bring up many layers of things that have been unsaid, and this should hopefully, for the American public, create some clarity of what to expect. One thing I want to say before I start into this reading is that we are in a space that is the most important time in the history of the world. We are shifting into the age of Aquarius, and what we are seeing in the 2025 year of the dragon is the last bit of toxic power games, lies, and challenges before a shift. And we've had in the world catalysts to this. One was COVID. And think about this. Having 2 years of being stuck in your home, you have two choices. You either go mad or you evolve spiritually. It gives you that time to reflect on your life. And during that time, there was a raise in the consciousness of the planet. Trump and his cronies are part of this catalyst that has caused the world to look at their patterns, and specifically in America, to look at power games, to look at prejudice, to look at sexism, homophobia. All of these things are coming up in the planet, and we have seen a shift and an activeness in the collective consciousness of America with the recent events with Trump's dictatorship of overstepping his power as president, specifically with ICE and the ridiculousness of sending out military Marines to California and other areas, the rounding up of innocent people like Nazi Germany. This is just insane bullshit. But we saw how I'm in California myself, and I saw, how with dignity our Governor Newsom and the American people have stepped up to this. We saw, of course, peaceful ICE protests, despite the evils of Trump setting off tear gas on people and rubber bullets into the crowds. And then we saw 6 million Americans, plus millions worldwide, protesting for no kings. And this is a shift of the universe saying we're not going to take this Machio bullshit power games anymore. And we are in the last, I would say, about month and a half of the horrendous drama that the world has been feeling for, years, actually. and we are going to see the positive shift. And what this also means is that your understanding of your own spiritual sovereignty at this time is very important. You are God also. And when you come from that knowledge of yourself as God, and you just shine light, you're raising the consciousness shift. And there are many people that understand this, and there are the newly awakened that are coming into this. So have faith. Practice what we call aliyah. That means just the self-love. In the next month, I suggest staying close to home. I wouldn't be traveling within the U.S. or out of the country. I do see with some events, not only with what's happening in America, but specifically we are seeing a huge amount of weather shifts. We will be seeing in July some, I'm just going to say it, I hate to say it, but some catastrophic world events in terms of weather. I see humongous earthquakes around Tokyo, and these earthquakes affecting the Pacific. I see this affecting South America. I see this affecting even Alaska and a little bit of California. We are seeing volcanic eruptions all over the world with, in Hawaii, in Italy. So we're seeing hurricanes, we are seeing crazy weather. So it's gonna come to a head in July. So be prepared. This will mean temporary power outages, so expect that within the US, internet outages, things like that. I don't see anything severely dangerous to where people's lives are in danger, but I see more of severe inconvenience. What I do see is when the power grid does go down temporarily, it will affect travel. So I do see world travel being stopped for a little bit, and Americans maybe being stuck in other countries, having trouble getting home. So this is the time to stay quiet, stay put. If you look at the zodiac, we are coming into Cancer. Cancer's the crab. The crab crawls into his shell and goes inward, and that's what we should be doing, in my opinion, is staying peaceful, practicing self-love rituals, and staying close to home. With world events right now and also political unrest, I don't, I would say it's best to stay away from major crowded centers and areas. I would stay away from arenas right now and stuff. That's just my opinion. And those are some of the basics of world events. So let's get now into the reading for the U.S. and Trump for July of 2025. The first card that comes up is obvious, and it represents in its placement as card 1 the present environment of the U.S. and Trump for July 2025, and that is the Tower. The Tower represents chaos, collapse. It also represents violent eruptions and so forth. So we are going to see massive upheaval. And I know that the collective consciousness is seeing this. So this can mean in July, legal allegations against Trump and his cabinet. We see protest against that on both sides. And what we see is a karmic reckoning of karma coming at Trump specifically and his people. So I see a storm. I see that it's going to clear away stuff. So we might see. Also, I see for Trump quite a bit of illness and not things not looking good. So this could go many ways. It could be that Trump steps down. It could mean I don't see impeachment, but I see him being forced to step down, or events leading to a shift. So this can go many ways, but we're going to see some huge events in July, and it is going to affect our government and our people. It will create temporarily, and I do say temporarily, a stock market crash, but I see it coming back better than ever quickly. So don't panic. Don't take all your money out of the stock. There's nothing to really worry about. You just got to weather the storm, and the storm is about 1 month. We are seeing planetarily Uranus coming in. We are seeing that creates major shifts. But also in July, there is fluxes between Neptune and Saturn. So yes, it's going to be, that represents ocean eruptions, earthquakes, some crazy energies, as well as this atmosphere of just feeling like a tower. It feels chaotic. It feels crazy. We're going to see, though, that all of the lies, all of the stuff that, we've been, just like wondering about, it's all going to come out. So stay tuned, okay? But also, you don't need to energy feed on it. You don't need to sit in front of your television all day in fear, Just know, though, that everything's going to come out. I'm just going to put it that way. And karma's a bitch. So for those who have been in these power games, we're going to see a day of reckoning, which is good for the whole planet. Okay, so now let's move on to the second card. The second card is the Cross Challenge. And this is specifically for Trump and America. And it's interesting that we get the Hangman. The Hangman sort of means like we feel like we're just stuck in limbo this month. And Trump especially is going to feel this. Like the Hangman means like his days are over, which is great for us. So Trump finds himself powerless, perhaps legally bound. We see more public disgrace. I see around the 17th even a bigger protest than even the 6 million we had for No Kings. I see storming of the White House. I see, literally almost like a French Revolution kind of thing. The U.S. faces a need to radically change its outlook and regard to justice and leadership. And this could imply a delay in government, like where maybe Trump is removed and our government just kind of goes on hold for about a month. And I'm actually seeing that very strongly as probably what will happen. And it will affect Trump emotionally and physically to where he won't be able to serve anymore, and he might be forced to step down because of health issues, or he will resign. Something like that looks very prominent. But I also don't see Vance coming in to any form of leadership. I feel like since he was part of the Trump camp, he will also be removed, or we will just halt our government for a bit. Okay, so this Hangman is like July. We're going to see the chaos, and then there's going to be this sort of period of everything feeling in limbo, like what the fuck, okay? But it needs to happen, okay? And so that is what I see. very, very strongly here. Okay, so a delay, it might be also, obviously we already know he's got, Trump already has like 34 felony convictions and impeachment proceedings. However, because of our, all of Trump's cronies in the Senate and the House of Representatives, impeachment is a little bit hard, but like I see that our government and the people are going to stick up, and we're going to get some kind of a limbo with him to where he's out of office or out of power, which will be good. Card 3. The unconscious, subconscious influences on the U.S. and Trump, and it's the moon. And the moon represents hidden agendas like disillusionment. So all of it's going to come out. So all of this confusion, what is real with Trump, what is not, is everything happening with Iran and the bombing, is this all real or is this stage? Was the Trump assassination a while back, was that stage or is it real? Everything's going to start to come out. And there's an undercurrent, though, of more fear and paranoia in the collective consciousness before it clears. So it's very important, again, that you as an American stay in your truth, stay peaceful, and go inward, and to not feed on this old energy. The good news is the collective unconsciousness that we have on the other side, an oversoul to America. Oversoul connects with Uranus. And so anytime America has had a major crisis, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War, First World War, World War II, Vietnam, Gulf War, and now there has been a shift into Uranus. So what that means is we've always come through. Democracy has always survived. We're gonna be okay, even though it feels super scary right now. Okay, so really understand that. That's very important. Also, on the other side, we have our ascended masters. Specifically, I see Madame Saint Germain, I see Archangel Michael, I see Yeshua, Jesus. I also see our past presidents that have passed, specifically FDR, JFK, Lincoln, working on the other side, okay, to protect our democracy and to hold to our nation, okay? So I believe very strongly that we are going to be okay, even though things seem really freaking scary right now, okay? So what we're going to see too with this card 3 with the moon is all of the old structures that haven't worked. That means power games. That means sexism. That means homophobia. That means, going after the immigrants, and just stirring up like, I'm right, you're wrong. And all of this fear is going to start to just clear. And we're going to see that the deception with Trump will seem very thick, and then it's sort of like the fog lifts. Okay? Now, card 4 represents the past and how that is affecting us now. So this has to do with also Trump, and also has to do with the U.S. So the card that comes up is the Prince of Swords, which represents the great manipulator. And doesn't that feel like what we've been dealing with? Like all of these lies, all these games, all these power plays, erraticness, misinformation, legal battles that go on forever, clever dodging of events. and just spinning words as weapons. But the past is catching up. The U.S. has been too mentally divided and is collectively coming back together. So, again, that represents that justice is coming, and things are going to shift quickly as a collective consciousness, okay? So now what's interesting is exactly what comes up is card 5 represents the conscious influence, and it is justice. Interesting. Legal reckoning is coming. Karmic rebalancing is coming. Trump and his evil people, okay, it's all going to come out. Okay, so we're going to see July. We're going to see more courtroom drama, political judgment, justice being demanded, civil war. When I say civil war, I mean like revolt. Like you're going to see, 50,000 people marching on the Capitol in July. You're going to see like just demanding Trump is out, and a rebalancing of the scales. We are going to see a pivotal Supreme Court federal decision. And I believe that it's going to be Trump will be demanded and Vance to step down. That's what I see. And that we just have to, I think we're going to see, that's what I see. So, I'm rarely wrong. I'm not perfect, but I have foreseen 9/11 and some other events. So that's what I see. I feel like July, we're going to see this reckoning, and it's going to be kind of chaotic, but we're going to see it. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so now card 6 represents the near future. So since we're in June 25th when I'm doing this reading, we're talking about the 4th of July to about the 15th. And the near future is worry. And you're going to see everybody being affected by the consciousness of fear. And this is why you can't allow your mind to go into this bullshit. So you have to stay grounded in I am God, I am safe, I am centered, I am radiating light. Otherwise, a lot of people will be experiencing several things. I'm seeing this already. A lot of people are getting ill, getting summer flus. They're out of balance. I'm seeing lack consciousness very strong, where people are panicking, and then all of a sudden their jobs are being affected. So the manifestation is when you are in fear, everything's going to come down on you. Okay, so it's very important that you do whatever you need to do to stay grounded. I suggest, going out barefoot, grounding down in the grass or in the sand, doing deep breathing, eating perfectly, eat plant-based, organic, avoid toxins right now. There are a lot of toxic things in the air right now, too, around the U.S. We're also seeing solar flares. People are being affected by this. People are being affected by the tides. That's why the collective consciousness of the planet feels so worrisome. That's the energy right now, okay? But you don't have to engage in it. Also, we're going to see with this card here of worry, severe worry for Trump is all going to come down on his head. So this means legal penalties, monetary problems, business collapse. Nationally, again, I said we're going to see the economy be shaken up for a while. Stock market crash temporarily, causing public unease. World markets reflecting that, but it's temporary. I can't stress that enough. It's not the end of democracy. It's not the end of our economy. We're gonna be fine, but people are just panicking. Stop panicking. You're gonna be okay. Okay? Card 7, the self-image right now of the US and Trump and what we're seeing. And the card that comes up is the Knight of Disc, which means we need to ground down our energy. So the Knight of Disc is the holistic healer. So it can represent that as a collective consciousness. This is the time to do things that are good for you. Again, that's the Aaliyah. That is the, drinking lots of water, eating plant-based, meditating, going inward, shining your light, prayer. There's just so many positive things you can do instead of energy feeding on fear, okay? Trump may still see himself as a resilient figure, but because of the events and things, his health is going to decline considerably. And like I said, he's going to be pulled out of office. The U.S. may attempt to ground itself amid the chaos. It will be slow to rebuild. But what we should feel is by August, we're through the worst of it. So there's going to be this huge release around the 1st to the 5th of August, where you just feel this like, oh, I can breathe. Okay, and that is going to start moving things quickly towards a positive shift. Okay, will it be perfect? No, but we're through the worst of everything by early August. Okay, so hang in there. Okay, next, card 8, the environmental external influences. And specifically, this is Trump, and the card that comes up is ruin. Perfect. So it's the end of Trump. Okay, betrayals are going to come up. Powerful forces are aligning against Trump to take him down, even within his own camp. There will be decisions concerning, him being placed out of office by the end of July. We're going to see a collective climax and then exhaustion. Okay, and like I said, I see sort of closing down of the government after he's pulled out for a while. And so it feels like we're just kind of, best way to describe it is like the U.S. is going to go into like a little bit of a hibernation period, which we need. Everybody's exhausted from this bullshit, so we're going to feel this collective release of, oh my God, I can breathe, but then also I'm exhausted. Okay. Card 9, hopes and fears. And the fears is cruelty. And that's what we've been experiencing as a collective consciousness, is with all of these power games with Trump and people, just this feeling of anxiety, feeling of abuse. Some people more than other. I hate to say this, but a lot of the people that voted Trump in, I'm just gonna say it's white privilege for a lot of people that want their tax cuts or whatever and their power games, and they've never had to deal with a lot of the prejudice that other people, like, other races have to deal with, gay people have to deal with. And what we're starting to see now is the people that voted for Trump, they're saying that they fucked up. And we're seeing this too with immigrants that voted for Trump that thought he was going to be the savior and get them jobs and, And so what's happening is this sort of feeling of, wow, I'm feeling now affected by abuse. And we've never really had that in the country, meaning that, yes, we've had, obviously blacks and, Hispanics and other races have felt it, gay people have felt it, but not necessarily the whole U.S. or white privileged people. And now they're feeling it too. And it's sort of like, in a way, a reckoning of like, wow, I've never experienced this. I'm scared. And it's sort of like the gays and the blacks are like, well, this is what we've gone through. our whole life, you know. So what's sort of happening is this empathy of let's stop cruelty is starting to come up. I was pretty amazed with the No Kings that even in very red states, and I'm just going to say it, some redneck Trumper areas, a collective consciousness of like, okay, we made a mistake. Let's get Trump out. Let's work together. And it was very emotional for me here in Long Beach to see over, I think we had like something like 12,000 people show up. And I was at the No Kings, and it was peaceful, and I saw people of all races, all ages, from young kids up to, people in their 90s, every sexual orientation, just, everybody kind of like, okay, let's work together. No kings, no power games. Let's shift. Let's work together. And that's what we needed in this planet, is unification of like what America was built on. Everyone in America, except for the American Indians, is an immigrant. Think about that. Everyone. And we have to work that what makes America great is that we are all types of people coming together. We are, like my dad used to say, the gumbo of different races and stuff. And we need to get back to that of, honoring everyone's views, whether they're different than yours or so forth. America was built on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to be who you want to be as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, And we're starting to see that again. Okay, now, 10 is really powerful. I'm going to get emotional with this. So the outcome of everything. So after Trump, after everything here in July, the card that comes out, the outcome for America, is the Aeon, which is a resurrection, a new time period starting of spiritual evolution, a rebirth of America better than ever after the storm. This represents irrevocable transformation on the planet, and specifically for the U.S. It marks a major and probably the most major historical turning event in all of American history. A new cycle, a new period will begin that will be better. The age of Aquarius, the end of all of this drama and turmoil and games. And you have to believe in it. It is coming. Okay? So that's amazing. So we are going to get through this as a collective consciousness. Okay? So stay tuned. Okay? So it's going to take a little while, but you should start to feel the shift by August. And by the end of the year, we will be seeing that we're moving into a better year. I see 2026 being a just great year for the world from where we have been. And so, wonderful. Okay. Now, card 11 is for Trump's legal outcome. Like, what are we going to see specifically with Trump? And the card that comes up is the Eight of Cups, indolence. The word indolence means horrible health, means like exhaustion. It could mean death too, which would be fantastic. But so what words that come up with this card? Abandonment, meaning like he might, he's going to be out of office. Stagnation, illness, walking away, retreat, fatigue, Heart disease. It represents possibly heart attack. Emotional exhaustion. The disillusionment of his dominance is going to affect him emotionally. He's finally going to get what a fucking clown he is, and he's going to be humiliated and feel that. We saw this a little bit with his birthday, with nobody showing up and 6 million people protesting, and it's taking a toll on him and so forth. And also taking a toll on other people in his cabinet, so Vance and other people. So the card 11 represents what's the end of the Trump years, and it's indolence. Indolence is, again, it could possibly mean death. And it could go that way. So I'm not going to rule that out, that he just dies of a heart attack or something like that after he's pulled out of office. It could be another assassination attempt. But I see more just failing health. But we've already seen an assassination attempt, so that it could go that way. So don't rule that out. Okay. Great. Okay, so now card 12 represents Trump's political future. Interestingly enough, what comes up is oppression. It's not going to happen. His overreach of power is going to be crushed. His ambitions being crushed. It's burden. Politically, he is completely overloaded. So he's going to feel the strain. He's going to be pulled out of command. He has no more power, basically, coming forward. So this is fantastic. So, oppression it also could mean, I think he's going to dodge going to prison, but it could mean, like I said, he's going to be pulled out of power, and it's going to be failing health. Okay. Also, I don't see good finances for him. So I think legalities with the government and different things could mean that he ends up broke or with less than he ever had. So I don't think he'll be completely broke, but it's going to definitely affect him on that, that too. Okay, card 13 for the collective psyche of America, temperance. And this represents an alchemy, a synthesis of coming together, integration of opposites, Republicans and Democrats healing and actually saying, let's work together now. The soul of America seeks healing through balance. Divisions come together. We're being transmuted into something different. There's a push for unity, and not in just superficial agreement, but in a deeper spiritual integration of opposing forces. And that represents more tolerance. So even though we can disagree, it's can we allow? And that's going to be a shift in America that we will be seeing over the next several years. Okay, great. Card 14 is, what do we see for the political system? 5 of Wands, strife. So there is still going to be conflict and some power struggles, but we're going to see a shift now of let's work together, even though we have opposing beliefs, to fix it. And that's going to be a huge shift. So instead of I'm right, you're wrong, or I want to control and blah, 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 we're going to see different parties, different beliefs coming together. So we're going to expect more debates. We're going to see more protests, but peaceful protests, and the time of choosing between the old guard and the emergent paradigm. So what you're going to see is all Americans taking more of an active stand, like we saw with No Kings. I'm going to stand up for what is right, and we're going to work together as U.S. citizens to shift and to create a greater America because we deserve it. And we're going to start to see that shifts things in other places. So we could see a ceasefire with Israel and Iran. I can also see that some of the tensions in Russia and Ukraine could sort of calm down by next year. We've already saw change in the papacy, but we're going to also see some deaths, and I see, possibly, not right now, but within a year or two, maybe King Charles's death in the UK, Putin as well. So this is going to shift the whole energy of leadership on the planet, and we might start to see sort of the end of no kings. Like we might see the end of the British monarchy, or a shift in that being less important or something. I don't really see Prince William coming in and necessarily taking over as king. We know that, obviously Prince Harry doesn't want anything to do with that too. So we're going to see these sort of shifts away from, royalty, one person in power, that kind of a thing. Okay. And we will be seeing, like I said, some, deaths concerning, monarchy. We're going to also see some shifts in power of countries, and we're going to see a rebalancing. And I hate to say it, but, America's not like the top power anymore, but I don't see us being in a danger zone in a low end either. We're just going to there's going to be like a kind of rebalancing. We're going to see some countries that were very kind of at one time very poor and very challenged actually coming into a better balance. Specifically India, we're going to see a lot of good things for India as a whole, and some other countries as well. Okay. Anyway, the final outcome, which is wonderful, is the final spiritual message is the star. The star represents, interestingly enough, is the card for Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. It represents spiritual renewal, hope. All of us honoring our divine spiritual guidance. This is why we need to work, or each person in America needs to work on their spiritual sovereignty, knowing that they are God also, knowing that the future is bright, and that we chose to be born at the time we were born, to be on the planet at this time during this huge quantum shift. So we're coming out of the darkness. You just got to be patient. Despite all the chaos, there's a promise of healing, a promise of inspiration. America, and perhaps even a shift in Trump personally, where he realizes his power games and maybe actually starts to evolve. It could happen. I know people are like, yeah, right, but you never know. Like we can hold that vision that does happen. We are not abandoned by spirit, and we have all of the ascended masters and angels on the other side working. We need to take responsibility as a collective that we need to heal the planet. And that's going to be a big theme after all. The Mother Gaia is angry right now. We're seeing this. We're seeing earthquakes. We're seeing volcanoes. And we need to honor the planet. And that means simple ways you can honor the planet is by, again, eating plant-based and natural, and not eating toxic stuff, and not killing animals, and, trying to be, green in, things you're doing, respect the planet, it's very simple. And just, even if it's just simple things you do, like recycling. I mean, every little bit that you do helps the collective consciousness, and it's a choice. Okay, so that's wonderful. So the final vision, we're going to see the tower collapse. We're going to see the end of this tyranny. The Aeon is going to awaken us to a new spiritual movement forward, and the stars are guiding us towards a better day. July 2025 is sort of like the crucible. It's the final fire, chaos before the peace. So hang in there. The American psyche right now is raw, but we are awakening, and justice will prevail. Karmic reckoning will happen. We know this. These are spiritual laws. So Trump's time is coming, and you just need to be patient. What seems like an end is actually a rebirth. Think of it that way. We are coming into a better era of America and the world, okay? And we're going to learn that it can't just be led by one, ranting child, tyrant. We're going to see that we all have a voice. And so stay with it, okay? I wish everybody great love and peace. And like I said, stay tuned and take care of yourself. Remember to practice your love rituals and send love out to our government. And know that we're going to be okay. Okay? Thank you so much. This is James Spencer of Intuitive Wholeness.